The time is now 6:53 on this Thursday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
We're learning federal law enforcement officers escorted a patient to an appointment at a Duluth hospital yesterday. Now, that patient was in the custody of federal agents. According to a statement from Essentia Health, privacy laws limit what they can share, including the immigration status of the patient. But they confirm the officers adhered to the hospital's processes. Essentia leaders added those processes, which apply to all interactions with law enforcement, are guided by a commitment to ensure the health and safety of patients, staff, and visitors. At last check, Essentia staff said ICE is not currently on their campus.
2 traffic stops in the Northland led to more than 1 pound of meth being seized. According to the Minnesota State Patrol, there were 2 traffic stops on January 18th, one in Hibbing and one in Virginia. State troopers stopped the cars for traffic violations. While doing that, drivers in both cases were arrested on suspicion of driving intoxicated. You can see the drugs they found during those stops. The State Patrol said proactive traffic enforcement is one of their most effective ways to keep drugs out of communities.
It can be easy to isolate and difficult to connect with others during the winter months. And that's why the program Live Well, part of the University of Wisconsin Superior Center for Mindfulness and Well-Being, offers activities that anybody can join. Live Well organizes free and fun outings around the community, including pickleball, cooking, and sauna sessions. If you're interested, you can check Live Well's calendar online and just show up. Essentia Health and several other nonprofits help make this possible.